Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today it's raining outside. You might hear some thunder and stuff going on outside. Things are a little bit bedraggled here because I've been away for the last 3 days. I got back yesterday and I am like so tired. And we had the fire alarm go off at 6 o'clock in the morning yesterday. Woke me up and I was like a zombie for most of the day. So got back last night, really had a great time. We sang a lot and we had a huge bunches of choir rehearsals. Learned all the music as I have to memorize it, but I think I can get it. And so I'm back. And so now we're going to start something new today. And what we are starting is called Obstacles and Visions, which I got from, I think, from one of my guides. I think it was Sunshine who gave me the idea. And I thought this was really a good idea. And since we're talking about like things happening in life and everything that's going on, and I'm thinking, wow, this is like, this is how the world, kind of is. You have obstacles, you have ideas, you have inspiration and things like that, and stuff happens. And then you're like going, oh, wow, didn't think about it that way. So at any rate, I'm going to go ahead and start by pulling a card. I'm still on the Gilded Tarot. I'm kind of stuck on these cards. I really love them. I think they're great. They're really beautiful. The artwork is wonderful. The cards are by Shiro Marchetti, and I highly recommend them if you're learning tarot because I've been learning it through these cards, and it's really, really good. So, yeah. Oh, it's really coming down now. Coming down in sheets, if you will. So, let me try again. Okay, stop here. I got the King of Pentacles. This is the father figure, the higher knowledge, the good king, the one who's prosperous and who has makes a good paternal figure, father figure, etc., etc. So that's the idea. Maybe Nigel's that. I don't know. But anyway, that's the card I pulled. And we'll put that to the side here, and I'm going to go start on meditation. This is called Obstacles and Visions. This is a 21-day group meditation. Today's day number 1. Today is June 1st, 2025. And happy birthday to my father-in-law who's transitioned, but still love him, and he's always with me. So happy birthday to him. June 1st, 2025. And I call it the pond in the center of the meadow. And this is going into something really different. So this is a really different bunch of meditations, but I hope you enjoy them all the same. So here we go. I said, so today is Sunday, the birthday of my father-in-law. And I am reminded of his love of nature. I'm also reminded of the very first meditation I did. It was sometime in January of this year. And so I was just getting started with all of this. I recall not really knowing how to proceed with it. It was a new beginning for me. It was before the things in the U.S. had changed so drastically, but they did, and now here I am. As I look back on this, I can't help but think about how grateful I am to have been granted the opportunity to proceed with something this grand. So I'm going to reflect back on the past meditations, the ones I began before I started speaking with my guides and Metatron. And Nigel says, you were always in a rather imaginative side, so tell me about the first time you did this. I said, okay, well, it was on a day when someone told me to share my experiences in this way. I had been in a chat room, and we had been talking, and I said I had a YouTube channel, but I didn't know what to do with it. And somebody said, well, if you post videos now and again, we can advertise your channel. And I thought, okay, I can do that. And so I decided to come back and start doing this. And that's where it all started. I said I did not think too terribly much of the idea at first, but I thought, why not? I had this channel. I figured that it would be an ideal way to contend with the inevitable changes that would be coming in all of our lives. The thing is, I don't really know how to approach all of this. This stuff when I went through the first day of a guided meditation. But what I saw was a pond, a peaceful lake, and a meadow. This granted me a perfect opportunity to contemplate my life as well as my role in the universe. The thing is, when getting started, in this form of meditating, breathing becomes an essential part of it. I I am here and focusing on the aspect of breathing. And I came to the realization that for many things, breathing techniques in and out are essential. Okay, that sounds stupid because we all have to breathe anyway. But what I mean to say is the focus on the intense concentration of breathing and in and out. This was something that was spoke to me about quite often, and Nigel had said a great deal about it to me. And I said, then I ended up in this sort of meadow with a lake and floating on my back. Later, I did the into the Meadow group of meditations, and there I was back at the lake, back in the meadow. It was like everything I had done had come full circle. Nigel says you always found peace in nature, in the notion that you are in a place and are free to explore that deeper part of yourself. Everything is circular in nature. You always do come back to where you began. Now we're back at the start of your journey, and you can experience these concepts at a deeper level. It is rather like the idea of first having an idea for a story and then coming back to it at a later date. And then you fine tune it. All of these things you wrote about can be fine tuned for future reference, and they can go deeper into the ideas that you wrote about, all the while realizing that it does have that it was all divinely inspired. I said, why does it feel like watching a rerun of a show or seeing a film for the second time? And Nigel said, that's easy. Think about the things you had seen and how the second viewing brought even more insight, more aha moments to you. When you watch a movie, you see all of the things that are in your face. The basic plot devices, the basic plot lines, the structures of the characters, their challenges, their triumphs and defeats, if you will. But when you see it a second time, what you're seeing are the underlying themes and premises that are within it, the ideas that are part of the story. You hear the music, you sense the rise and fall of emotion, and you understand the basic ideas of it. The first time you watch a movie, you see the overall premise. But have you ever watched a movie a second time and got far more out of it than when you watched it for the first time? This is what we are going to do. We are going to look at the first 21 days you stepped into this lake of energy. And we are going to fine tune the concepts and the imagery that you discussed in those meditations. What are the underlying meanings? We are going to seek to find out the more spiritual words and ideas that you initially wrote. In doing so, you will see that the things that you might have missed initially will be rediscovered. And this is by no way a means of saying that we're putting you down or undermining what you have done. But instead, it is a way for you to understand on a much deeper level the things that you wrote down. The idea to this is for you to understand on a deeper level that which you wrote down and then can explore more further. So we begin with the lake, the meadow, and the sky. Above your head, you make note of blueness as well as the cotton-like clouds. Why do you see that? I said, in that sense, it was calm. The water is clear. I can see clear through to the bottom. There I can see tiny pebbles and rocks that are about lining the bottom of it. I don't know how deep it is, but I do get the impression that it is very deep not very deep because beneath the stones and rocks are quite visible. It just feels calming. I think that was the impression that I got from being in this place. Nigel says, tell me more. How did the air smell? Was there something that captivated your senses? I said, yes. My favorite scents are the air just after it rains. There's this freshness in the air, and there's no feelings of loss or sorrow, just the sensation that all is well. I don't have to look for a flower to detect a scent. It's all around me, filling my senses with fresh smells of air and calmness that feels like it is all around the area where I am. Nigel says, "Can you taste anything in this place?" I said, "No, but I feel a subtle sweetness in my mouth. So I'm not stuck in this place, and um, I don't have to eat or drink anything, but I don't have any hunger or thirst. When I touch the surface of the water, I can feel the moisture on my hands. It feels as though I'm in this place of sense, um, in this place of sensory overload. When I lick my fingers, I can taste the spring water, and there's a sweet tingle in my mouth. Somewhere in the recesses of my mind, I think anyone else might understand the notion that we can find this peace within ourselves, or we can push aside the challenges and chatter, and see the good that exists in the world. There's a beauty in this place, but it is a place where we must seek out. If we are not ready to experience it, then we will not find it. What must happen is we must embrace it. Nigel says part of that means embracing your imperfections and letting them go. Once you do that, then you will not only experience peace, but in your mind, you will be able to go to that place where peace surpasses all human understanding. This is why you must sometimes return to the places that are more considered to be the beginning. Each day, we, meaning your guides and those with whom you have spoken with, we can return to these other meditation concepts and recall them. Through that, others may return to the old meditations and see if the conclusions perhaps align with yours. I said, so this is what we will do, return to these first few meditations? And Nigel says, yes. And because today is an introduction to it, there will be no other video references. Tomorrow, we will look at day number 2, and you will discover that the words that you wrote were in communion with us. You will see this in the coming days. And I said, that sounds awesome. And Nigel says, wait and see. I think you will be quite surprised. And I said, thank you. I will. And that's where we ended. So that is the beginning of the new meditations, but it's actually, we're going back to the old meditations to rehash them. We're going to view them a second time, and we're going to see what they have to say and what my guides have to say. And so what I figure I will do is just read them aloud, and then my guides will interject where they feel is necessary. This is going to take a little bit more work on my part, because usually I just sit at the table and start writing. But now I have to go back to the other meditations, and I have to write them, and I have to let my guides come in and tell me what it all means. And so it's going to be a rather adventurous thing. So I'm going to go back to the card here. And as I said, the King of Pentacles is like the guidance, the wisdom of a paternal figure, or of a masculine energy. And ironically, today would have been my father-in-law's birthday. He transitioned 3 or 4 years ago. And I keep thinking that this King of Pentacles is about that wisdom, that paternal wisdom, that masculine energy wisdom that's going to be coming to me in the coming days and weeks while I undertake this particular group of meditations. So what we're going to do is tomorrow we'll be getting started on it. And I'll put this aside. I'm going to pick up another card just to see what it is. And here we are on the 9 of Cups. And this is a celebration. raising your cup to the goodness that will come. The challenges are behind us. The prosperity is coming. The cheers and prost and all of the good things that will come to us through this happy barkeep who says this is time for us to celebrate what we have and what we are going to experience going forward. So with the King of Pentacles, these two cards actually encapsulate this whole idea of going within and finding that wisdom, that inherent wisdom that we have within ourselves that we can continue. The next one is the Knight of Cups, and he is also raising a cup of cheer, of gladness. Can't see his face because his helmet is down, but you can see that he is the knight, and his horse is reared back. He's holding up his cup victoriously, and he seems very happy. And down on the ground here is a little mouse who's like kind of watching and seeing what he's doing and kind of anticipating what's going to happen when this horse charges. But for now, he's reared back and he's ready to go, and the knight is holding up his cup and he is saying, let's go. That's how I view that card. Again, this seems to be more masculine energy, so maybe the wisdom of my guides of Metatron, of the masculine guides, will be coming forth and explaining to me what it is that I have been doing. So, the next card is the Fool, and this is the card of going in forward and jumping off that cliff and hoping that everything's going to be okay and that you're going to be all right. And this card does encapsulate the idea of somebody, kind of blindly walking forward to see what's going to happen. But sometimes the results of that are quite positive and quite good, and sometimes the results are kind of miscalculated, if you will. But we'll see what happens. And this is where I'm at right now with doing this, to see if I can find out some more information from these early meditations and see where they're going to lead me. And the outcome here is the Two of Pentacles, which I think is kind of neat because look at the rainbow at the top of that. That's what immediately caught my attention. Every time I see a rainbow, I think I'm getting a message from my father-in-law. It seems like the rainbow has become sort of synonymous with him and the message of, I am fine, all is well, and this will be okay, that everything will be okay. This guy looks like he's juggling the Two Pentacles, but it looks like he's doing it magically. So he's sort of a quasi Doctor Who figure with gold rising from his fingertips. But at any rate, so he's there and he's doing that. So this is a choice, and this is we'll see what the outcome is. But at any rate, that is the meditation for today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, and thank you for being understanding while I take my few days off to do my singing and stuff with the choir. And I'll be back again tomorrow at some time during the day. I'm not going to say same time because I don't know when the time is going to be when I'm going to do this, but I will do it. So thank you for being here. Thanks for watching. Thank you for subscribing, for commenting, and for liking the videos. And I look forward to going forward with this tomorrow. Take care, and as always, namaste.